Hello, happy Monday, happy manifestation day. I hope that you can hear me with the microphone. I hope that you can hear me. So, okay, we have the summer solstice coming up. And the next few days is what I want to begin today with is that this is really your opportunity to get so crystal clear in what is it that you want to create in the next 6 months and to cut any loose ends. So I have been personally going through a massive purge over the last few days of just my clients experience this a lot because I work in 3 and 6 month containers, and there's like a lot of intense work that we're doing in such a short time. And so we're shifting the energetics, but there's also a part in the subconscious mind, but there's also a part of us that kind of is still there, and it's taking some time to adjust to that. So as a result, people sometimes experience colds or some aches, maybe some tiredness. So a lot of clients experience that and they're like, what's happening? I'm like, it's part of the process. Just don't worry. Your body's breaking down to build itself up again, and you're going to feel amazing after. So it's part of the process. I've been experiencing that myself, and really just the powerful energies that are here right now. Here in Europe and the northern part of the world, I know that my friends in New Zealand, Australia are going through approaching the winter solstice, and that's a complete different energy, different energetics. However, we here, this is what I'm addressing today, the summer solstice. Now, I have made a video about the 7 rituals, and you can check that out on my channel. There's also going to be a video this Thursday about how do we actually welcome the light in, okay? How do we utilize the solstice energies that are present for you this year, okay? So make sure that you don't miss that you check that out on Thursday. It will be out. What I want to bring in here. How do we prepare for this? What do we do with these energies? What is not serving you? Where is it that you're holding yourself back? Where is it that, think of, it's the lightest, the longest day of the year, right? So much light, so much abundance. And we can have so much abundance in our lives, and we can be blind to it. We cannot notice it. We can just say everything sucks and everything is horrible and misery and lack and all of these things that we don't actually want to experience. So it's not just about it being there. It's about, are you actually attuned to recognizing it? Esther Hicks, right? Abraham said such a powerful point. I was a strong advocate of, like relationship dynamics, for example. Well, it takes two to dance, right? When one person shifts the way they show up in a relationship, the other one starts to behave differently, and so on. And that question, because it's something that I've gone through myself, what if you start doing the work and the other person isn't doing the work? Like, how do you make that work? And do you make it work, or you just leave? Like, what do you do? And Abraham said something so powerful that for you to recognize the misalignment of another person, that implies your own misalignment. So when you notice lack, and this is not just about relationship, because everything in your life is your relationship with yourself. So when you recognize the not enoughness, the lack, the bad in something, that means you are not tuned in enough to look at that thing, circumstance, person through the eyes of God, life source consciousness. You're filtering it through the ego, through, not enough, through belief system, through stories. So coming out of that, now more on that in the video on Thursday. Again, make sure you check that out. Noticing what's coming up in your body the next 10 days. Today is the 12th. Yeah. So we got the solstice is on the 21st. Noticing what's coming up for you. What is present for you? What is your body trying to tell you? Like I said, when you do these big shifts, and sometimes your body's just that part of you, it still needs to catch up. So you may have some aches, and always getting curious, not rejecting, not like, oh yeah, I should fix this, or this has to be some different way. But how can I be there with? How can I come into my body? How can I feel safe? How can I just be there for myself in the most loving way? So that is my invitation for you this week. Going first into a question that I have received, and that is, how do we get rid of the evil eye fast? Okay, so this person not only wanted to know, how do you get rid of the evil eye? How do you get rid of it fast? So my first question would be, well, what did you do to attract it? Okay, especially if there's like, I just want to get rid of it fast. No, look, okay, jokes aside, this concept, right, of the evil eye, and it kind of links back to what I just spoke about, right? For you to recognize the imperfection in something, someone, you have to be out of alignment. So my question would be, where is it that you are not, as Abraham would say, tuned in, tapped in, turned on into that? Where is it that you are perceiving lack? And I would love to work directly with this in the sense of, getting more details on what there are so many different ways what people see as the evil eye. So in which way is it coming up specifically would be my question. But generally speaking, no one and nothing can affect you without your consent. The limiting belief stories, the lack, the evil eye, it can't affect us unless we welcome it in, unless we allow it. One of the things that I do with my one-on-one clients is really strengthening that energetic field because, look, we've taken so many things on unconsciously, right? And I actually had a session recently, several sessions actually recently that this came up. Ancestors just keep popping up and with their feelings or with their inputs, and it's like, no, boundaries. Okay. And so strengthening that energetic field is really important practice, learning how to do that because things affect us. However, it only affects us with our consent. And sometimes it's unconscious consent. We take things on without fully realizing what is it that we're taking on. So an example of that, let's say you invite your friend to stay over at your house, right? And it's like, oh yeah, I would love to have my friend over, right? But then they come to visit with like 30 bags of luggage, okay, and 5 cats. And they're like, wow, I didn't sign up for this. I just invited my friend over for a few days, okay? Minus the 30 bags and 5 cats. However, you kind of like, because it wasn't really discussed, you kind of agreed to that because for them, they thought that they would be allowed to come with all these things and 5 cats. And this is what often happens in our lives. We take some things on not understanding what it implies. So oftentimes, for example, it's like, yes, I want to be part of my tribe, part of my community, and that is a wonderful thing. However, when we don't have this discernment and we're not tuning into what do I want as an individual, yes, what is my input into the community and what is it that I'm receiving from that community, but also who am I without my tribe? This can be family, this can be society, this can be any really group, right? Your partner in a marriage as well, like that is there too. So we could be taking things on. I want to belong. I want to be part of this tribe. So let me take all the baggage that this tribe or group carries and take it on as my own. That's the equivalent of 30 bags and 5 cats. Okay. This is not something that we want to do. So we want to be really discerning. And because sometimes our energy field is so open, we just kind of take in anything. So this is a really important practice to do, and this is actually something that we're going to be doing in the Solstice ritual. I could actually leave the link below. It's going to be on a Thursday's video because that's really when I'm opening up the sign up for it. So getting back to the evil eye, we may subconsciously, unconsciously accept things as our own, even though they're not our own. And it's just about making boundaries with it, understanding that nothing can affect you without your consent, and it's your responsibility. Sometimes, it's like you are not to blame for it, but you are responsible for it. So you may believe, from the school of thought that you came here, you chose this lifetime, you chose these particular parents, you chose to be born in these circumstances. Some very important, crucial events in your life may have been put in place before you were born so that you could experience. It would kind of guide your soul on its curriculum. So you may have that school of thought. You may totally not agree with that, and that's fine. But just understanding that whether you think that it happened at random, or whether you think that it was planned, that you planned it before you came here into this particular body, you're not to blame for it, but it is your responsibility to shift it. So when you notice a misalignment, however that evil eye may come up, right? What do you see it as? Understanding that it is you bring it to awareness is now your opportunity to create those boundaries with it, to take responsibility and ownership for your life, making it so very clear that nothing outside of you can affect you without your consent. So I hope this was useful for the person who asked the question. Now, going back to, I want to cover that topic a little bit deeper. We still have a bit of time. When we do the deep energetic work, because a lot of my clients go into like a share that this, my body's falling apart and I don't like it. And I go, it's part of the process. It's all right. You got to kind of fall apart until you're rebuilt again. It's not necessary. I mean, if you take it at a slower pace, that wouldn't happen. Your body would have more time to integrate. But because I work with my clients in a short period of time, we just get insane results. It takes some time for your body to adjust to that. So how do we work with that, right? Because look, the reality is so many people go into, I want this life altering step, right? I want my life to completely change. It's kind of like, I want to win the lottery. I do not have any financial literacy of how to keep the money or how to invest it or what to do with it, but I want to win the lottery. And what ends up later, and this is actually based on research, is that people end up more miserable after they won the lottery and lost it all, because like, oh my God, I had it and I'm more miserable than I was before. And I have more debt and so on. So we want those steps to be gradual. It's not one life-altering thing that will change your life. It's your consistency with the little things. Can you be consistent with that? And this is such a powerful step because it's really that reaffirming of, am I actually going for what I want? So often when we do shifts with my clients on an energetic level, and there is I can't help but smile so wide because I love how it's like every time it happens, there's a massive shift and it's like letting go of an old belief system, and then that exact trigger, that exact person comes up in their reality, which hasn't happened before that work. And this is an opportunity to reaffirm, am I willing to give in to the old patterns, or do I actually stand in what I truly want? And it's the same thing with those little steps. Every single time you make a decision, is this important enough for me? Am I willing to commit to it? And this is kind of going full circle here to finish up with, again, reminder, the solstice. What is it that you want to commit to? In the Powerful Self membership, monthly membership that I do, we also have the quarterly planning, which is in June because July is a new quarter. So there's so many beginnings. We have the new moon, we have the solstice, we have the new quarter. And this is, again, an opportunity to get so crystal clear, what do you want to create? Because you can have, every single new moon, you can have these intentions. Are you actually implementing it? Because my work is all about implementing the two. You have to have the masculine purpose, decisiveness, presence, and the feminine flow. So tuning into what is it in my heart, that what is it that it's calling me to? And you need that masculine structure to hold that in place. So are you doing that? How can you get more clear and strengthen that masculine energy this week? And next week, we're going to go into more of the feeling, because there's just so many exciting energies. And I believe next Monday will actually be the new moon, if I'm not mistaken. So until next week, Manifestation Monday, send in your questions if you have any. I would love to answer them either on my Instagram, The Spiritual Analyst, The Powerful Self, or info@thepowerfulself.me. So I thank you guys for being here. Make sure you catch that video about the summer solstice, and I'll see you next week.